Being simultaneously crucified, cut off, laid off, and evicted tends to focus one's sensibilities. And, despite Dad's long-standing jealousy, hatred, and bias towards me, I knew, at least on one level, he was right. I was a failure in life, and a miserable one to boot. I had brought shame and derision to my family, frustration and agony to my ex-wife, and become the laughingstock of the entire gay fix-it subculture in Chi-Town. I had squandered one of the most prestigious educations money could buy, a Bachelor of Arts with honors from the College of the University of Chicago, and misappropriated one of the world's great schlongs to the dead-end dreams of the queer nation, only to wind up nailed to a homemade cross like a freak Jesus on roofies. What's wrong with me, I wondered? Why was I so hell-bent on self-destruction? Why did I reject every safe bet opportunity that came my way and insist on the hard road, the lonely road, the one least likely to succeed? Why couldn't I just take the easy way out, like all my friends, and become a doctor or a lawyer, a professor or an accountant, with a chubby little wife and a litter of cherubic parasites to nurture, and abuse? But no, not me, not the grand and glorious Puchy. I had to become a great artist. I had to take the world by storm. I had to be feted, lauded, and studied. I had to be lionized, canonized, and extolled. I had to live a life that mattered on a cosmic scale, that would change history, transform culture, and redefine for generations the very essence of what it meant to be alive. As I considered the holes in my palms, my impending homelessness, my $498 FICO score, and the $1.97 in my checking account, I couldn't help asking myself, why must I have such lofty goals, yet be so utterly incapable of achieving them? Come to think of it, why did I have to have any goals at all? That's when it hit me. Could it be that my problem was not my failure to succeed, but my overwhelming desire to do so? After all, what is unhappiness if not an expression of the disparity between one's desires and one's realities? And since, logically speaking, it's difficult if not impossible to control the cruel vagaries of reality, why not simply lower one's desire for success and decrease the negative differential? In fact, why not reduce it to zero, obliterating all hope from my heart, all yearning from my soul, all lust from my loins, all goals in life, love, and art, all dreams of happiness, fulfillment, and joy, and thereby completely eradicate the scourge of unhappiness, disappointment, and yes, failure from my existence? Could this be the solution to my torment? Could this be the answer to the Gordian riddle that was my life? Like the well-trained University of Chicago grad that I was, I resolved to develop my desire hypothesis into a full-fledged theory of desire, to identify the cruel mechanism at the heart of the tyranny of desire, which I could then submit for peer review and publication, in the hopes of attracting funding for further research, experimentation, booze, hookers, and blow. But first things first. I needed a nifty equation to formulate my notion of the relationship between desire and unhappiness with as much precision as possible, to provide the logical underpinnings for my future research and the sizzle to help sell my grant proposal, like butter melting on a ribeye. For guidance, I turned to the great Albert Einstein, with whom I had always felt a natural kinship. At the heart of Einstein's theory of relativity is his famous formula, E equals mc squared, wherein energy, E, equals mass, m, times the speed of light, c, squared. In other words, energy is mass, and mass is energy, just slowed way the fuck down or sped way the fuck up, as the case may be. Looking at it another way, a tiny bit of mass yields a massive amount of energy, which one could quantify by multiplying it by a stupendously huge number, i.e., the speed of light, 186,000 miles per second, squared. That's how atomic bombs work. For my theory of desire, I would simply swap in unhappiness, U, for energy, and desire, D, for mass. Hence, a certain amount of desire yields a certain amount of unhappiness. But how much exactly? The only way to know was to apply a universal constant as immutable and unyielding as c, the speed of light, in Einstein's equation. I struggled with this mightily for several minutes until it all became clear. The universal constant in all our lives is, wait for it, life itself. We don't choose it, we can't control it, we can't change it. We can only ride it, like surfers on a tsunami or skiers on an avalanche, careening faster and faster to our inevitable crushing demise on the shores or crevasses of reality. Where Einstein had c, the speed of light, I would have L, the speed of life. Eureka!